What up everyone, it's your boy X-Man87 here, bringing you another Star Wars Black Series video, and what I have for you today is a review of the Walmart exclusive Star Wars Black Series Clone Wars Wave. Gotta give a big thanks to my boy Mike, aka X-Devil-Skull07, for finding these at our local Walmart and meeting up to chill on the hunt for a bit. I appreciate you for looking me out with this after Walmart canceled my pre-orders. Before I get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, the side packaging is beautiful with this nice mural put together, so let's dive in as we take our first look at Ahsoka Tano. So good old Snips here is not sporting her early attire from the first Clone Wars movie and the first few seasons of Clone Wars. This is actually an attire later down the line. As she's getting older, her look starts to change. Now taking a close look at Ahsoka Tano, she looks incredible. I really like the montrals here leading to the head tails. I believe they call them Lex. That looks really nice, and there's texture along with that, so that looks really good. I like the paint apps. The paint apps came out really clean. Then on her face, she has that Traguda pattern going around. Nice white paint came out clean on mine. The eyeliners came out nice, you know, dark black. The eyes came out really good. They're like big and bubbly, so that looks so Clone Wars accurate. I like it. And you got the dark lipstick, so yeah, overall, this is a really nice head sculpt. So taking a look at the rest of the body, she used mostly parts from the last Ahsoka figure. The only thing that's new is the arms and the upper torso and the skirt piece, but the legs are the same as the last Ahsoka. But yeah, got a nice design pattern right here at the top, like the grayish bluish kind of color we have going on here. Got some silver trimming design pattern right there. On the back, some more silver trimming. So yeah, really nice. And as well as the shoulders too, can't forget that. And I like that there's butterfly joints on that, so that makes me extremely happy. And you get some of her orange skin tone right there on the arms, and then she's got the forearm sleeves with some armor on it and some, you know, buttons right there, all colored, nicely painted. Fingerless gloves. Then this is the new skirt piece I was talking about. Nice blue and silver trimming pattern right here. You got more silver armored kind of plating at the waist and on her back side of the skirt. It looks really good. The legs painted in black, and you got the boots in a nice gray color. And you got peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Really big peg holes. For accessories, she has her lightsabers. So she has the smaller lightsaber right here and the longer lightsaber. Really like the colors of the lightsaber here. You got a nice translucent blue. Much different from the last one too. That one's more of a lighter blue. Kind of looks like white when it's really like lit up. So comparing them side by side, you can see that this one's so much thicker. And if you want, you could pop off the sabers off the hilt. And if you want to store it on Ahsoka, you see these two little nubs right here. She has two holes on the side of her skirts, so you're just going to plug that in like so. And then there you go. Now she's fully equipped with her lightsabers on her. Alright, now to cover articulation with Ahsoka, her head barely moves up because of the head tails. Yeah, that's going to be hard to, you know, get her to look up, but this is the best I could do. So, you know, if you want, just play with that upper torso to get her to look higher. And then her head moves that far down, not much. It is on a ball joint, so it does have this nice head tilt. And it rocks around as well, and it swivels. Her arms move that far up, which is pretty good. You got the butterfly joints that rock forward and back. Moves down, all around. Got the shoulder swivel, elbow swivel. And then you have single jointed elbows that meet about 90 degrees, I'd say. And you got the wrist swivel and the wrist hinge. And on the other hinge for this wrist is the vertical hinge. Upper torso sadly only moves that far forward. Moves a better amount back. It does swivel. It has a nice pivot and it rocks around. Legs move that far apart. Skirt doesn't really hinder it. That's as far as it'll go. It kicks up that high. She kicks that far back. Really good. Her legs rock around. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees, but no heel to the Ahsoka butt. And then her ankles move up, down, and got the ankle pivot. Next, let's take a look at the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Troopers. Now, I'm a huge fan of the 501st Legion and Ahsoka Tano, so mixing the two together, you get these guys. The 332nd Clone Troopers were an infantry division within the 501st Legion who were led by the newly promoted Clone Commander Captain Rex, being assigned for the Siege of Mandalore. These guys have the Phase 2 Clone Trooper armors with the 501st markings, but they painted their helmets with Ahsoka Tano's facial markings representing their camaraderie to Ahsoka, which makes them dubbed as Ahsoka's Clone Troopers. Now taking a close look at the helmet, this looks really good. I really love the Ahsoka Tano inspired design on the helmet. So the paint is just really nice. And they all vary between the helmets because like this one right here has a thicker white pattern, whereas this one has a much thinner white pattern. So they're all going to vary. I got 4 of these guys, and that's the max that I'm going to army build with these. Like this one has a thicker white pattern. And then let me just bring out the other one. Yeah, a little bit thinner. So they're going to be different from, you know, each one you see. You know, the rest of the body sports that Phase 2 Clone Trooper armor, the new updated one. So, you know, this one surprisingly has better articulation than the last one, and I'll show that, you know, in a few. It's just, I'm kind of shocked because they took out like double jointed elbows and knees, and yet this one has more range being single jointed. I just found that hilarious, but I love the 501st kind of markings right here, so that looks really good. If I bring out a 501st Legion, you can see it's a little bit different, but still kind of shares that same design pattern. Same with the shoulder pads, except this shoulder pad's so much bigger. This one's a lot smaller in a matte blue. This is like a glossy kind of blue. Got blue around the wrist, and then you get that kind of like splotchy, squiggly kind of pattern there, as if it's like kind of scratched off, kind of like that sheer type of look. Whereas the original 501st, they were kind of clean right there. But seeing the difference, wow. Yeah, they did a good job here with the paint. I'm really happy with it. Very clean. The white plastic comes off nice and shiny to give it that armor appeal. So I really dig this a lot. For accessories, you get this longer blaster rifle, and then you get this smaller blaster rifle. Then comparing this blaster next to the ones that came with the 501st, you can see that this one's a tad bit smaller. It's got a little paint right there too on the grip, so that's pretty cool, and some texture there. For this articulation segment, it's going to be more of an articulation comparison segment, more than just a straight up articulation segment, just because I want to compare it to the 501st, and we're just going to see the difference and the improvements on this one compared to this one. So his head is on a ball joint, and the 332nd looks that far up. You can't really get that on this guy. As you can see, he doesn't look that much up, and he's on a neck hinge. This guy is on a ball jointed hinge at the top of the neck and right at the bottom of the neck. So he could look a good amount down. I think this trooper didn't have any issues with that, but left, right, and he does have that head tilt because, again, that ball jointed bottom neck, you don't get that at all with this guy. So again, this one wins already as far as neck movement goes. On the 501st, his arm only moves that far up, which is trash. I mean, that shoulder pad is just blocking everything, especially because it's such a hard material. The shoulder pad on this one is smaller, and it's a lot more pliable, so when I bring his arm up, you can see that is just going along with the flow right there. Look at that. Look at the difference on that. I don't understand why Hasbro couldn't do this before. Like, this looks so much better. And moves down all around. You got the butterfly joint that moves forward and back. This one, no butterfly joints whatsoever. So this guy's already winning here with articulation. Shoulder swivel, no bicep swivel. This one does have a bicep swivel, but you got the swivel right here at the elbows, and it does bend in a little past the 90-degree marks. And you got this guy right here, double jointed elbows. What the hell? Look at this. Single jointed elbows, more range than double jointed elbows, and mainly due to this new extra piece they added with the elbows and the knees. It's definitely a big difference right here. So I think Hasbro wanted to cut costs by saving parts. So as you can see, the armor bit is sculpted in between the joint. You have the wrist swivel and the regular wrist hinge. This one, you have the vertical wrist hinge. And you can see the torso is a little bit more elongated compared to this one. So you could get way more of a diaphragm joint. Yeah, just by a little bit, but still more. It's still an improvement. And he moves that far back. A little about the same, but again, this one's better. But you can have a better pivot. It rocks around and it swivels. This one, not that good. Well, yeah, it's got a good pivot, but he doesn't rock around as fluid as this one does. The legs move that far apart, so as you can see, again, more range on this guy. Kicks that far up, and with the leg extended up, I say the 501st wins with the higher kick. But his legs rock around, you got the thigh swivel, and the single jointed knee, which no heel to the butt. You're never going to get heel to the butt with a single jointed knee. But again, double jointed knees on the 501st. And it's about the same range. Anyways, he has a knee swivel, which this one does not have, only the thigh swivel. And you got his ankles that move up that far, down, and ankle pivot. Next up, we're taking a look at the Super Mandalorian Commandos, or Commandos Super Mandalorian. I'm just gonna call them the Super Commandalorians. There we go. And just to go over these guys real quick, during the Clone Wars, the Super Commandalorians here were a group of human Death Watch soldiers that pledged their loyalty to Darth Maul's Shadow Collective. They formed when Darth Maul killed the Death Watch leader Pre Vizsla and took over Mandalore. Now I gotta say, while I love the Dathomirian inspired design on these Mandalorian armors, I hate that they reused the Jango Fett sculpt for this. I mean, they just look so short and stumpy, and it's not how they should look at all. In the Clone Wars animated series, they had this sleek, slender-like design and build, which they should have reused parts from the actual Mandalorian figure. And if I pull up Jango Fett here, this is the route they should have went. And if I bring Boba Fett here into the picture, you can see he has a slender build. They could have reused some parts from Boba, I feel. This guy's just way too thick. I feel like he could be a heavy gunner Mandalorian, as he has that thick kind of build, you know? Anyways, that's just a big gripe of mine, so let's take a close look at the head sculpt. And the head sculpt for this helmet is absolutely incredible. I love the design here. Love the Dathomirian horns, you know. You got that Darth Maul inspired look here for sure, with the red and black pattern. It's just really, really dope. So, the horns here are in like a metallic silver color. The T-visor is in a glossy black. You get some dark gray and light gray in there. Overall, I just love the color patterns here. Then looking at the rest of the body, again, more of that Dathomirian inspired red and black pattern. And you get some like scratches there in a metallic silver paint. The shoulder pads are new, so this is a new part here. It has the horns, or the spikes, whatever. And that looks really cool, red and black. So yeah, I mean, you get some new parts like the helmet and the shoulders, the rest, Jango arms, you know. And you got the gauntlets there, the black cables. Black gloves, or brown I should say, or gray. I'm colorblind here. And you got the belt piece. That's a separate piece. This is a new piece as well. You got the jetpack. You got a nice dark gray, kind of gunmetal looking like, with some red and silver trimming right here. So yeah, it looks pretty good. The pants looking good. You got the holster straps right here. So these are also newly sculpted onto this figure. So it makes these thigh parts brand new to the sculpt. And you get the armored knee pads. And you get some silver paint right there. And you get the red shin guards. And I really like the wear and tear kind of paint they're putting. And then the shoes are in a dark gray color. And then some thread sculpted at the bottom of the feet. For accessories, he comes with these two pistols. So you'll get some gun wielding poses there. And on the side, you can just put that and slide that in like so. So to cover articulation with this Darth Mandalorian, his head moves that far up and he moves that far down, swivels, and it does pivot. And it kind of rocks around. His arms move that far up, and you don't have to worry about the spikes on the shoulder pads warping. There is a good amount of gap in that shoulder socket, so you know it prevents it from warping. And it moves down all around. You got the shoulder swivel, and you got like a bicep swivel right here, and then an elbow swivel. It's just so close together. It just makes no sense. I do not like this design here. You got a single jointed elbow that's less than 90 degrees, and a wrist swivel and a wrist hinge. Diaphragm joint that moves that far forward and that far back. It swivels, it pivots, and it rocks around. His legs move that far apart. He kicks up that high. That's pretty good. And not much back. And you got his legs that rock around. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and heel to the Super Commandalorian butt. Ha! That's great, man. This is probably the best range this figure has. And then his ankles move up that far, down that low, and all around ankle pivot. Also, I forgot to show you, the jetpack is removable, so I guess you could count this as an accessory as well. Lastly, we're going to take a look at the Mandalorian Loyalist to round out this wave. And here is the Loyalist out of the box. So when Death Watch split, the Super Commandos sided with Maul. These Loyalists were part of Bo-Katan's Mandalore resistance that opposed Maul's seat to the throne of Mandalore. But I feel like there's a mix-up with the designs here. If you go back to Season 2 during the Siege of Mandalore, it's pretty inaccurate to what the Loyalist is supposed to look like. Now, to provide you with some images from the show, you can see that the Loyalist had the yellow markings on the helmet, chest, and shoulder symbols, along with the lights on the gauntlets, is completely different from this figure. Now I'm going to pull up a Death Watch Mandalorian image, and as you can see, this figure to me resembles more of a Death Watch Mandalorian than a Loyalist, so I feel that Hasbro made a mistake here with the looks for sure. Now as you can see, yet again, we get another Jango repaint, just like the Super Commando, and I don't understand, man. It's definitely a cop-out here. So I won't cover articulation with this guy, as you already saw when I articulated the Super Commando. It's the same thing. But let's take a close look. Now taking a look at the helmet, I do like the colors. I really like it. You know, the glossy T-visor. And then you get the baby bluish kind of color right there around the visor. So that looks really nice. And on the sides here as well, you get some red trimming right there. You get some nice wear and tear throughout the T-visor here and on top of the helmet, so that looks good. Nice metallic color, and on the back you get nice blue right there. So yeah, I do like the colors. I do like the helmet design. Now for the rest of the body is two tones of gray colors. You got the dark gray, and then you got the light gray as the armored plating. You have some nice wear and tear right there in silver, so I like that. Got some red here, some more like wear and tear. That looks good. Got design logos on the shoulder pads, so very nice. You got the blue sleeves. Again, those same gauntlets of Jango Fett, the cables right there. Got the hands right there. Same belt piece as the Super Commando, and you get some wear and tear on his crotch. That's funny. And you know, got the pants right there. You know, the holsters with the guns. So he does come with the same guns as the Super Commando, just in a bright silver color. So, you know, that's it for accessories. And then you have the knee pads, more wear and tear. Nice gunmetal color right there. I really like the color combo of the blue and gray. I've always loved that color combination. And you got the shin guards right there. Nice wear and tear. And then the shoes in gray. Sculpt at the bottom of the feet and the peg holes. And lastly, here's the jetpack in a nice gunmetal color. You get some nice silver trimming throughout and red trimming as well. So very nice jetpack. And it is also removable as well. Now to start off comparisons, here is our Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano next to the Star Wars Rebels Ahsoka Tano. So not that much of a difference, but I would like to see how Ahsoka first appeared in the Clone Wars movie in the first few early seasons. She would definitely be a lot shorter since she was younger, but it would be really cool to get this nice like evolutionary stage of Ahsoka figures. In my opinion, she's one of the greatest Star Wars characters ever and one of my all-time favorites, so I'm definitely gonna pick up her Hot Toys. That shit's dope. Then here she is next to Master Plo Koon and Anakin Skywalker. And for those of you who don't know, Master Plo Koon was the one who discovered Ahsoka, and then later on Ahsoka became the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. Here she is next to Captain Rex and a 501st Legion clone trooper. Here is a 332nd Ahsoka's clone trooper next to Captain Rex and a 501st Legion clone trooper. Here are the Super Commandos next to Darth Maul. Here is the Mandalorian Loyalist next to some female Mandalorians. We have the Hasbro post-exclusive The Armorer, and we have the Star Wars Rebels Sabine Wren. And finally, we have the Loyalist next to some other Mandalorians. Alright, and now to wrap things up, I'm going to give Ahsoka a rating of 9 out of 10. Even though she shares a lot of the same parts as the Rebels Ahsoka, her articulation is better in some areas like the neck and elbows. The paint and sculpt is superb, the accessories are nice with the storage for the sabers as well. Overall, my favorite figure out of the wave. The 332nd Ahsoka Clone Troopers, I will also give a 9 out of 10. The new body sculpt and the articulation on it is far superior than the past Clone Troopers. Looks amazing when army built, and the Ahsoka facial pattern paints on the helmet is truly the visual draw for me. For the Super Commando, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I don't like the Jango Fett body mold on this at all. It was a poor choice with its poor articulation and chubby physique. The biggest appeal for me is the paint and the Darth Maul looking Mandalorian helmet. I love the Dathomirian pattern throughout, as that's what makes it look badass and will even look more badass when army built. The Loyalist gets a 6 out of 10 for me. It's my least favorite figure out of the wave. The look is not even accurate to the series at all. Again, using the Jango Fett body was another poor choice. My rating for the wave as a whole would be a 7.5 out of 10. I hate when army builders are exclusives, and 3 out of the 4 figures of this wave are army builders. Even worse that it's a Walmart exclusive, so that was a boneheaded decision. I don't go as crazy on army building with Black Series as I do with my beloved Marvel Legends, but this is surely going to frustrate the hardcore Star Wars army builder fanatics. I just did 4 out of the Ahsoka Troopers and 2 out of the Mandalorians. I love the Mandalore lore, and I'll get anything that's Mandalorian related. And while I don't have a dedicated Clone Wars shelf, they'll fit nicely in my Mandalorian display. Having the Ahsoka Clone Troopers guard Ahsoka in displays looks astonishing, and they are the main highlights for me in this wave. So now I kick it back to you guys. What do you guys think of this Clone Wars wave? Who from the Clone Wars series would you love to see next? I want to see Aayla Secura and Asajj Ventress so bad, as well as Bo-Katan, Pre Vizsla, and Savage Opress. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Link is in the description below. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the pics at the end of the video. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.